Hello, all, and welcome to another episode of the Of Two Minds video game podcast. I am Connor, a damn fine cryptid, and I am joined as always by...
It's your boy Beyond the Grave. We're here. We're back after a slight hiatus.
Slight hiatus and re-recording period because the news is just so hot. It's so hot, the news that we're covering, unfortunately.
It's just today. It keeps dropping.
It won't stop, like birds from the sky in a poisoned land. So, as anyone currently watching the YouTube VOD will see, we're going to be discussing the Sony PlayStation scenario where the company has come forward and said that they are planning on ceasing the production of physical media, games in particular, by 2028.
Baffling. Just a baffling statement to hear, to be honest.
As of today, they've still only mentioned that this initiative is explicitly planned for PlayStation games, but as we know, Sony is a multimedia company and has basic ownership over a large portion of the anime industry, both for distribution and licensing. So, one domino falls, another follows it.
Yeah. I mean, they've already kind of started doing that too. Even with, like I mentioned before this, they had mentioned that they were locking, because they do own Crunchyroll.
Yes.
They're locking the Crunchyroll store behind a certain tier of membership to even access the store. And they've already been silently pulling anime from Crunchyroll that you can no longer access, at all.
So Crunchyroll, we could have like a micro rant about Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, anyone who's been watching anime through online services long enough knows that Crunchyroll got its start as a pirating website. They were then bought by a media group that was then absorbed by Sony. And once Crunchyroll became the forefront for, legal anime streaming, it's just been a conquer, all horizons kind of thing. They bought Right Stuff Anime, which was one of the bigger stateside distributors for anime merchandise, and specifically the media itself. Like getting discs from Right Stuff was one of three options, really.
Getting actual box sets, figures aside, they legit had almost every box that you could think of coming out within the industry. As soon as it was going live on the Japanese markets, they were making announcements here.
Yeah. When they absorbed that company, it was a complete shit show. Orders that were long-standing pre-orders, active orders that were just, waiting to be shipped, were all just kind of, it was a complete coin flip as to whether or not those orders would be delivered upon. Most of those pre-orders were canceled. Most of them were left in limbo. A lot of people had to resort to going to their banks and issuing a chargeback.
Yep. Then shortly around that same time, I think right before that happened, they had purchased Funimation.
Yes.
Which was one of their other competitors.
So Sony actively owns Funimation. Funimation, they did have a lot of licensing and distribution stuff, but it was primarily of the content that they were producing. But they were a big, swinging name in localization, production, and starting up new content. Now that Sony owns both, the ever growing trend towards uninhibited monopolies across all mediums is concerning.
All right.
But yeah, that's just on the anime industry side. So
it's now starting to move into the game media side.
Yeah. Let's go with we've got a slight timeline just over the last month.
Yes.
So for the sake of, if we were immediately contradicted on anything, it is the beginning of August as of time of recording. The majority of the news we're focusing on is going to be starting around June 26th, which is when the first mentions of Sony's license dissolution with Studio Canal made it so that over 500 titles from the movies side of the PlayStation Store, because let's not forget, it's not just games. They try to sell media through their store as well.
Yes.
Those licenses were revoked. And if you had made the decision, I don't know why you would, to buy a movie through the PlayStation Store, a store that has no refund policy, if you paid for those movies, when that licensing deal fell through, all of those licenses were revoked. They were removed from your library. If you have them downloaded, you can't access them, and no customers were offered any form of refund for any content purchased.
It's just terrible. Like no type of resolution to be like, hey, we understand. No, nothing. Not even a credit.
Yeah, like not even account credit. It doesn't hurt them to, keep the money within their own store, but it's just like, oh, well, we don't want to pay for this anymore, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this is not uncommon in the terms of digital storefronts. I think Steam, only a few years ago, implementing its refund policy really kind of set the trend of people beginning to expect a form of refund as an option because, buyer's rights are a thing that people are barely aware that they have. So only recently has the idea of digital marketplace refunds been in the collective mind palace. But when Sony says, well, we don't want to pay for this, so get fucked. Foreshadowing is a literary device. Lead to so technically the GTA 6 announcement happened sometime in June. Where
GTA, it happened towards the end of
again, micro aside, Grand Theft Auto 6 got pushed to November because they laid off the majority of their development staff because the staff was trying to unionize. And
although they say it's according to the leaks that happened. Remember that?
Yeah, no.
Officially, it was because of all the leaks that
the leaked
the staff
details.
Was giving.
The leaks from one staff member in the company fucking Slack channel to another staff member in the company Slack channel. They all just happened to be in a Discord talking about unions. That was the leak. They were leaking the idea that working for Rockstar sucks.
Crazy work, I know.
Union busting is not unknown. It is not. The fucking video game industry in particular is
nothing new that we haven't heard.
Like we covered when we started the show, one of the first things we talked about was during the Summer Games Fest where Jeff Keighley basically condensed, here's how many fucking layoffs have happened in the last year, guys. The fucking medium could be dying because of corporate greed.
Mm-hmm. The fact that he acknowledged it like blatantly at the biggest show of it, one of the biggest shows.
Yeah, now
with the biggest companies there to like, hey, just to let you guys know,
it's like okay,
y'all made these great games, but also there's how many people you're letting go too.
Fully acknowledging that by his nature, Jeff Keighley is a corporate shill. He is the Dorito Pope. He is the reason that Mountain Dew has Call of Duty codes forever. He didn't broker that deal. He just promoted the fuck out of it. He is a corporate shill, but for him to acknowledge, hey, industry, stop fucking killing yourself. There's a degree of awareness there that it's like, okay, I can respect that you will at least sometimes not be schlobbing the corporate knob.
Yeah, even though when he does the same, when he acknowledges the like some of the best indie games that have been outselling the best AAA games.
He makes efforts, but like, there definitely is like, and here is the appeal to the public where I highlight these things. Like you could be cynical about it, but there is, you can also be naive about it. So GTA 6 announced a shift in their release date to, what is it, November this year?
Yeah. Like I think November 11th or something like that.
Quote unquote citing, fine tuning and polish, even though the game in closed circles where it's been played plays like shit.
November 19th.
Yeah.
The week before Thanksgiving.
So that they can keep the rest of their staff away from their families for the, on the off chance that they didn't fire them. Legitimately, like it just completely destroyed. So people have been waiting for GTA 6 for like 12, 13 years now, right? Like, let's not forget that was an end of 7th generation game that came out at the tail end of the 360 and PS3.
For GTA 5, I remember playing it on 360.
Yeah. I remember I was working at GameStop at the time. Let me tell you, the 2-week period between when GTA 5 launched and then when they actually launched the online service was a fucking time. But Rockstar's basically been coasting on fucking microtransactions and all that bullshit from fucking GTA 5.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, GTA Online.
Microtransactions.
Macro transactions, fucking $100 bullshit for like a decade. But now GTA 6 is coming out, and so I mentioned this point later, and we've talked about this before in the previous recording. There is a subset demographic that we like to call ball and gun gamers.
Yep.
The people who buy a $600 console just to play Madden or to play NBA 2K,
The yearly Call of Duty. Yeah.
or Call of Duty. That's what video games are to them. This is not gonna affect those people. This is not gonna affect your fucking your XQC watchers who are like, oh yeah, no, they have to do this. Why wouldn't they put out the base version of their game where it comes with all the content at $100, where the standard right now is an inflated fucking $69? People who don't get what is what the trends happening with this shitstorm hurricane actually mean long term. The people who will support the thing because it's like 90% of their identity is the fact that they play GTA and 2K and Call of Duty. So ball and gun gamers. So GTA 6 announced in late June that they would be initially digitally exclusive on launch.
Yep.
2 days later, they have a backtrack where they're like, oh, well, we'll send physical boxes, but it's just going to come with a game code. Which,
at that point,
what the fuck is the point? What is the point of that shit?
Yeah. What is the actual point of doing that?
And apparently there's some back and forth as to whether or not they actually are going to commit to shipping empty boxes. Not in that they might send a game, but whether or not they actually send those boxes out at all. It's just going to be digital codes. They're going to print it on cardboard. It's going to be locally produced. They're not going to fucking expend any kind of money that they don't have to. Because again, corporate greed runs the world. So the digital only confluence of GTA 6 was the momentum that really fueled a lot of what happened on July 1st when Sony announced that they were going to stop physical game production by 2028. So there is one other point that I want to bring up before then. There is a PC Gamer article that came out, I believe also on the 26th, where current PlayStation CEO Hideaki Nishino, who you will know his name by the end of this. There's a quote, and I will say that it is a machine translated quote. So if you want to be absolute pie in the sky, benefit of the doubt, fucking optimist, maybe there's something lost in translation here. I haven't heard the exact, Japanese used, so I can't say whether or not there's subtlety. But there was a Famitsu interview that was translated and then, promoted by PC Gamer, where he said that even after the failures of several live service projects, the majority of which are actually not ever, they don't see the light of day. They just get canceled. They throw millions of dollars at them, and then you never see a build of any of these games. The most infamous of them recently was Concord, because that was a game that they spent a couple $100 million on for it to look like an HR inclusion book. And I normally don't give a shit about I appreciate when character diversity is natural and you're writing characters to be characters and not to check a box like fucking Activision's diversity meter that they apply to Overwatch characters. They're like, oh, well, this character's not as diverse as they could be. Quickly make Symmetra autistic because she doesn't hit enough boxes. I think that shit. Do you not remember that?
No.
Oh my god.
Then again, I don't pay attention to Overwatch like that.
I don't either, but it was something that was so fucking ridiculous. This is years ago. Long story short, there was a fucking internal meeting at Activision that basically, the different stats for a stand in the in-between transitions for a JoJo episode?
Yeah.
They brought up every Overwatch character with a diversity fucking meter for different metrics.
Oh my god.
And Symmetra wasn't diverse enough, so they made her autistic.
Sick.
There's a lot of really stupid shit in that story, but we can focus on that at a different time. But so the pursuit of live service games, i.e. hero shooters that have either loot box or free to play style monetization mechanics, long term, not subscription based, but you may as well be a subscription based thing with the number of things that full game price DLCs that come out after the fact, like Destiny. So Nishino wants that because he wants the endless drip feed of infinite money that the 1 in 1,000 of those that succeed will generate. Because I think that fucking Destiny's a failure from its monetization and as a game, but that is the closest they've gotten to no one's going to match Fortnite. No one's going to match current hero shooter of note, because everyone hates Overwatch 2. Marvel Rivals generating infinite money by making dick textures too detailed on their summer costumes.
Them summer skins, they brought a whole new wave of fans. Let me tell you that one.
You know what?
Captain America leading that charge single-handedly.
Yeah.
Is raking in money.
Don't even need the shield for that fucking charging star. But legit. Bullshit aside, Nishino says that it doesn't matter how many of these fail. We believe that live service games are content that attracts users on a global level. So we want to continue to revitalize the market through both third-party and first-party content. Let's just go through a quick list of projects that we're aware of that never fucking came out and studios that have closed. So studios that are dead because of the live service endeavors of Sony and PlayStation's recent bullshit. Firewalk Studio, responsible for Concord. London Studio, Neon Koi, Blue Point Games, which Sony acquired just to never fucking have them put another game out before dissolving them.
Oh, which hurts so much because they did some great work.
Remake Bloodborne, you fucking bastards. You could have let them remake Bloodborne and made infinite money that way, you dumb bitches. So Ben Studios for a live service game was canceled before it ever actually got concept art out. There was a Twisted Metal live service game that was killed in the womb. There was a Last of Us live service game that had a couple $1 million expended before it was canceled. There was a Spider-Man The Great Web Insomniac Spider-Man live service game planned. I don't know how the fuck that would work. That game is so single player.
Just a bunch of Spider-Men flying around the city. What
with fucking the PlayStation infrastructure? No, sir, that ain't happening.
Right.
London Studio live service game killed. Neon Koi live service studio game never reached anything. Bungie's codenamed Operation Payback is one of its many canceled projects before Marathon became, the infringement live service became a thing.
Yeah.
There was a plan for a God of War live service game, and then the ones that actually saw the light of day, Concord. Live for all of 1 month before, and they actually set the precedent that they gave fucking refunds back for people who bought that game. They gave,
which was a total surprise, to be honest.
I didn't think that they would. The fact that they did, and now they're pretending that digital refunds don't exist, is bullshit.
Right.
Destruction All Stars, which I don't even know how long the game lasted before they killed it.
It went on for a good minute. It just, the thing is, it was like slowly just crawling. And then just disappeared. They just dropped it hard off the face of the earth. Was that a launch PS5 title?
I don't think so. I feel like I remember seeing art for that when I first played it.
I remember seeing it like very early on, and it's in the course of the PS5, but I don't know if it was launch. It was February 2021 was the initial release date. So it was a year after the launch of the PS5.
Yeah. Destruction All-Stars was delisted from the PlayStation Store in May of 2026. So even if it's dead, you couldn't have downloaded it. And even if you have downloaded it, you don't have access to the servers that would make that game playable.
So it did last for a good while, I guess you could say, but it didn't really ever pick up enough traction to really bring it to the limelight.
Yeah.
Because actually February 2021, that's only a few months after the November 2020 launch of
the system
of the PS5. Yeah. So for 2026, I guess that was cool, but I can imagine those servers were never full and they had to use bot players to fill in those games.
I imagine that finding another live player in game was a rarity.
Yeah.
And then I don't know anything about it, but there's another title on this list called Camden.
Camden? Never heard. Never knew anything about that.
A live service game, but that was the byproduct of studio closure from several of the studios I just mentioned. Some of these were in a direct response to Concord, but
yes, that is for sure.
If you burn $1 billion, at least let something come out and be a failure so you can claim it as a fucking tax loss,
Yeah.
The Microsoft way of keeping their business afloat with Xbox, literally everything that comes out is busted as shit. They call it a fucking write-off and then kill it.
A write-off. And never to be seen again.
Fucking go in the way of Megas XLR, man. So yeah, Sony is so full on. They are so chasing the dragon high out of their fucking minds on the idea of a drip feed of Fortnite levels of money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize you have to put effort into a product that is worth playing to get that. And as much as I hate Fortnite, the fact that it constantly changes is what has enraptured the fucking younger generation, because it's like, it's never the same fucking game. And there's always, oh, hey, look, it's the new thing. Here's your reference. Here's your fucking reference. Here's your fucking, what is that shit movie based on that shit book? Ready Player One? Yeah. Here's your Ready Player One environment, basically. Here's licensed character A, B through, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're so obsessed with the idea of perpetual money for nothing, aside from keeping servers up, which Sony is known to fail to do.
To me, like their idea was like, oh, if we have 12 live service games, if 2 of these succeed, they'll carry us. Like they just thought they were going to be instant winners.
They barely got 2 of them like actually out before canceling them. Like I don't know.
And I like sat there. I'm like, you do know how many live service games came out around the Fortnite era and are no longer around because they couldn't generate anything, right? Sony, like, I don't know where you guys thought you instantly were just like, oh, this is gonna make a hit. By the time they had the idea to make that live service game, it's like you guys were already 3 years behind. And then when the game finally comes out, you're still another 4 years behind that. Like you guys are trying to start the race. It's kind of like the comparison of like when Marvel set up their cinematic universe to when DC tried to catch up to them instantly, and we saw how that failed. Yeah,
because they started with fucking your leading men. You got your fucking Superman and your Batman movie, and then they tried to jump to Justice League, and it's like, dog, you need to establish each of these characters. This takes time. It's like that fucking there's like this fucking demotivational meme that's like, fucking inside you there are 2 wolves. One says it takes time to see progress, and then the other wolf says we don't fucking have time.
Yeah,
because businessmen need money now. How can people like Andrew Wilson give themselves a $30 million fucking bonus this year based off of Battlefield's success? Get fucked.
I'm Darren Wilson.
Do you know that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
That motherfucker on paper only makes $8 million a year, which is still wildly fucking too much for someone who puts a game out every 4. But Android Wilson fucking, if you wanted to convince me that motherfucker was a robot, like sent by, like he is a CIA plant, 100%. Head of EA, by the way, if I didn't say that. CEO of EA, Andrew Wilson, he's a shitbag, scumbag, fuckface, who is the reason that Dragon Age is basically dead, and that BioWare will not make another good game, ever. But yeah, he gave himself a $30 million fucking raise based off of the success, quote-unquote success of Battlefield 6, but then still laid off, and like, that fucking studio.
Like, shortly after the release, I remember hearing that. I remember that, like, shortly after Battlefield 6 had released, there were a bunch of layoffs, and I'm like, oh, that
there were a bunch
like
of layoffs.
Smart thing to do.
And then he fucking just gave himself a $30 million bonus. It's like, dude, you didn't even need to give them a 1/10 of that, and you could have kept every one of those employees, you fucking scumbag. But that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with corporate fucking greed.
Yes.
It's corporate greed. It's not even, we're not reading the market. We're not adapting to trends, because Sony doesn't have the infrastructure to support a digital-only fucking space. They just don't. Even though they want to pretend that they do. The other thing that came out on the 1st is the metric statement saying that, quote, 78% of game unit purchases were digital, which is demonstrably false.
Yeah. I was like, that's completely baffling. There's no way that could ever be true.
With our previous recording, the word disingenuous was said 14 times in the span of 2 minutes. So I'm going to try to not do that. But this is straight up not true, and is supported by data about how not true it is. So there was a Reset Error thread that promoted some of the what was in the metric, because Capcom socials fucking followed up by saying, oh yeah, 80% of our sales this year were digital. The majority of those sales were quote unquote game units digitally sold as opposed to unit ship. The majority of those sales came from A, sale titles digitally, and B, titles that are only available digitally, like the fucking classic Resident Evil backlog. every single like the gold edition fucking standard add-on. So the problem is that the 78% metric includes several things, and this was followed up by there was essentially a leak from Insomniac that gave a first party document. We have it here. It is just Sony library presentation supplement PDF that was posted. Yes. That's a big long business document, but what it says when it comes to sale metrics is that over the last 4 years, let's look at some of the top titles here. Sackboy, the fucking Little Big Planet fucking things, like the digital, everything related to that title was 70. This was through 2022. 77% physical, 23% digital. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart sold 76% physical copies, 24% digital copies. The Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, not even the original fucking game, 71% physical, 29% digital. Demon's Souls sold the Demon's Souls remake, the game that was the only game available on PS5 at launch, basically.
Yeah.
That sold 70% physical and 30% digital. The Miles Morales game has been 2/3 physical. Same with the other Insomniac Spider-Man game. Returnal sold 61% physical, despite it being constantly sold out all over the place. They did not support that game for physical releases, yet it still sold majority physical copies.
Yes.
The Last of Us Part 2, original release, because there have been remasters and fucking ports and bullshit that
unnecessary
we've already discussed in the past. 61% physical, 39% digital. Yes. Ghost of Tsushima OG, not even the director's
cut. This one was a very close cut. Yeah, this one.
That one's 51% physical. But so here's the problem with the 49% digital metric, even within this standing. The digital upgrade on PS5 counts as a unit sold.
Counts. So again, that's a blurred line right there of saying, oh yeah, well, most of our sales were digital. It's like the quote that I pulled from their response on their blog. It's like, this is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical disc. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. Well, that's also bullshit, because DLCs, guess what? Don't those count as digital purchases, because there's no physical? They count as physical or digital?
Those count as digital purchases. Those
count as digital, right?
Those were counted in the original 78% digital market reference.
So it's like, what do you want us to do when that is the only way to access that?
Do you know what I think?
Can't see.
Do you know what I think when I hear that quote? When I hear that quote, we're more aligning with our audience's preferences. I think they're more aligning with the fact that their audience is switching to playing games on PC through Steam, which is, again, digital only, no shit. But fucking, like, sidebar on that, actually. I think that, again, we're going to use the word disingenuous. It is the most disingenuous comparison to fucking compare Steam and its marketplace to the PlayStation Store.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
wholeheartedly,
Steam has a fucking return policy and has like world-class customer service. Gaben fucking is accredited with that quote saying that fucking piracy is a customer service problem. It straight up is.
Yeah, it definitely is.
There's a reason.
He makes an excellent point with it.
That a lot that there's a not like, you can't ignore the percentage. There's a full demographic of people who waited for Horizon to be on PC.
Oh, absolutely.
They would not play the game on PlayStation. And, you know, a lot of these fucking first-party games that have been sold, I don't know how much of the mix is there, but, like, legitimately, are you quoting the digital sales trends of a digital-only platform, like what's available with PCs?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm like, do the sales that were made on Steam, is that also a metric that they're counting as digital? And, of course, it's
that I'm not sure.
Digital.
I don't know,
like,
but...
because I remember there was that whole thing when everyone was waiting for those digital games like God of War, the Spider-Man games, Horizon, Last of Us. Well, people were so eager to play those on PC that I'm like, do those sales count strictly for Steam, or is there partly
that is something
for PlayStation?
So something that was a part of the controversy last year with Helldivers 2, and kind of part of one of the reasons we stopped playing it, was Sony's forced PlayStation Network integration. I don't know. Yes. The article that I read doesn't quote Steam digital sales as part of those sales metrics for the quote-unquote trends of their first party titles. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did count games sold through Steam, because they require you to verify an account with PlayStation. You don't have to have PlayStation Plus to play those games on Steam, thank fuck, but you do have to have some kind of
PlayStation account.
Yeah. So the one that we didn't mention on that list was MLB The Show. That one is 39% physical and 61% digital. And when that game came out, that is a yearly sports game release. Over time, when you put that game on sale for $5, no shit, the digital numbers are going to be bumped. I remember I was still working retail when, like, the year that game came out, and then the year after, people were constantly coming in saying, "Hey, what are the sports games available? I don't want to play FIFA." I'm like, "All right, we got your 2K options or MLB The Show." And then I would go to look for a copy of MLB The Show, and we wouldn't fucking have any because we got like one every 3 months. They did not support that game physically.
Yeah.
And that is also like the last one of the MLB The Show series that is released. I don't know if they're not, like, if that studio's dead.
That this article literally says 31 of the 33 first-party titles actually sold way more on physical than digital. And it's like,
yes.
What numbers are they? What numbers are they pulling that they think digital is the way to go?
So this is something that made me legitimately stop pursuing a psych degree, and it was taking sociological statistics. Really, and you'll learn this in a standard stat class. You can make any data set say whatever the fuck you want based off of the framework of what your proposed thesis is.
True.
And the only thing that determines something as statistically relevant is whether or not it happens sub 5% of the time. Or 0.5% of the time. Legitimately, just depending on how you want to look at a specific, like the same data set can support 15 different claims depending on how you framework that claim. So if they say, "Oh yeah, no, digital trends, here's the percentages," I'm sure that they made the number set work. But if we don't have access to the full data set that they use to determine, like, what is the control in that? Where are the metrics coming from? How verified are these metrics? How many of these, what are you considering as part of a unit sold? How do you compare that to different retail sellers? How can you compare a one-time sale market to a resale market? Because we're looking at the mass fucking translation of physical versus digital, but this is only on initial sales. The whole point of people pushing for the physical market is not just for preservation, it's for the resale market. It's cheaper to buy games physically. I saw a post recently. Yes. Someone was like, they went out of their way. They're like, I'm getting the games that I want to play on this console because I'm never buying from PlayStation directly again. Here is a list of games that I found. It was $141 because I bought them either in person, used, or new, but they've just been sitting on a shelf forever. $141 versus $460 equivalent on the PlayStation Store. Because digital games don't depreciate in value ever. They will occasionally go on sale, but they do not ever depreciate in value. So everyone is fucking against this move. This is no one supports this. This doesn't help anyone. This does not make the industry a better place. There have been multiple developers that have actively disavowed the choices that Sony has made. Cut to your telltale fucking corner text. Everybody disliked that. Everybody hated that.
Yeah. Everyone will remember that.
So before we get too far from it, because it's something I failed to bring up in the initial recording, why is Sony doing this? Let's take ourselves outside of our gamer brains for a minute. Let's evolve and think objectively. Yeah. Why are they doing this? It comes down to several things. Now, it's really easy to say corporate greed, but what a cost analysis is for a digital-only infrastructure versus physical production, no shit. It's easier to sell digital because you don't have to invoke the cost of producing discs. You don't have to buy the materials. You don't have to pay the people producing them. You don't have to pay for shipping. You don't have to pay for fuel to support that shipping. You don't have to pay a revenue share with the retailers that sell the disc. You don't have to take a loss when you have to sell those units to get them off of store shelves. Depending on contracts, if something stays on a store shelf, eventually the retailer has to start paying that distributor. So they will just sell it for a fucking dollar. They will get it off the shelves to stop paying fees.
Absolutely.
Nobody makes money.
If you even want to go even further than that too, then they don't even have to pay staff members to come up with cover art, back cover art, any of that goes into the physical media of it. Basically, take place in that. It's like, oh yeah, well we no longer have a need for this job, I guess.
Yeah, so they don't have to pay people, and they don't have to, you know, if you're ignoring physical production, you can go into the market of merchandise sales as opposed to video game sales when you create a quote unquote special edition, you know, like the couple of the special editions that have launched in the last few years. So you can completely break whatever price dichotomy has been established by special editions of the past by saying, oh no, this is just merchandise. You can pay $600 for this Doom statue, right?
Then the turnaround is on that too. It's like, yeah, they can save themselves all that money on the physical front, but guess what? In reality, the price is still going to be the same on the digital front.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, well, where's the benefit for the consumer?
Well, that's the thing.
Gamer. There is nothing. There is none. Like, let's just get that.
When you don't have to appeal to the consumer's needs, because, and this is established later, what Sony is doing is they are making a monopoly for anything that they have a production touch in. You will exclusively be able to buy through their storefront, only be able to acquire a license and not actually have any kind of ownership rights.
Which is also terrible.
Yeah, I mean so the ownership of physical media is something that's been a major point of contention. We'll get to that in a moment. The one other practical thing, like I hate to bring up current events. I hate to bring up current events because I play video games to not think about current events. The current conflict in the Middle East and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which is a major trade fucking
route. It's a trade route. Yeah,
that route, you need to go through that for transatlantic fucking trade. You can't produce things with the cough slave labor in Eastern Europe and Asia and then get them to the US for cheap if you don't go through there. Not to mention the fact that the conflict in the Middle East is also skyrocketing the cost of fuel, which means that to actually transport anything, the fuel you pay for is now more expensive. So all of these things are part of the sociopath math that goes into, well, why do we engage with that at all? We have our customers by the balls. They're going to stay. They're loyal fans. They'll stay no matter what we do.
Mm-hmm. Or at least that's what they're banking on.
Well, again, literally, that was the claim. They are, quote, confident in, in the faith that the fans of PlayStation have in the product. Okay, so all of the original announcement, the immediately disproven fucking, sales percentages. This is all at the start of July.
Yeah, this is still like at the very beginning.
So the immediate backlash with this, there are a couple. Let's represent like what the voice of the people is screaming into the ether. The phrase, if buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing, has come to the forefront of every social media like metric, every hashtag, every you can't go on Twitter or even fucking Blue Sky or fucking Facebook without scrolling past something claiming if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. If you take away, if my money does not buy me this, does not give me ownership, then you can't punish me for quote unquote stealing it, because it's not stealing if you can't own it.
Oh, absolutely.
So used games are how the majority of people play games on PS5. Yeah, it's the phrase that pays. If buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. If I can't own the thing I'm paying for, then you don't get my money. People are decrying that used games are the only way that they play on PS5, especially since the generic baseline price markup. Let's put this into context. Currently, a standard PS5 game is $69.99. Unless you're dealing with an indie title or someone who is actively producing games at a lower rate for the sake of getting, more people in.
Yeah.
Games are like $80. Like average out your tax. Games are $80. The U.S. federal minimum wage is still $7.75. You're telling
crazy to hear that, actually.
I can't buy a video game after a fucking entire shift, not even including the tax deduction. A 10-hour fucking shift at my full-time fucking job, which allows me to play my video game to distract myself from how much I hate my life in, late-stage capitalism. After 10 hours of work, I still can't buy a video game. The fuck? Let's also look at the importance of retail sales. Now, I know that we are mostly digital because we're mostly buying on PC. When we buy
For the most part.
physical, it's for nostalgia at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's because we believe that the game will immediately be consumed by the spectator fucking collector's market, and we actually want to play the game.
Yeah.
I know that I have my physical copy of
for the most
Unicorn Overlord for this exact reason, even though I haven't got around to playing it.
Well, you should, because I'm currently playing it, and it's fantastic.
It really is. It's really good. I really want to play it. I've seen some stuff. I like those numbers. I like that system. Minor positivity break. Unicorn Overlord, Vanillaware, good. Also, tragically on PS5 and not on PC because Vanillaware feels that all of their games will be stolen if they put them on PC, which is tragic to have that mentality.
Not just PS5; it's on all consoles. So
yeah, so it is also on
Xbox. You can get it on your Switch and Xbox.
Switch.
So because I have mine on the Switch.
But they specifically Vanillaware, as much as I love that developer because of their obscene obsession with fucking food detail that borders on Ghibli-ish.
Yeah.
And also having like really weird stories and game mechanics.
Let's mention the jiggle physics.
Yeah, listen, art is good. Art is art beyond. Anyway, they refuse to produce for PC. Not just because it's difficult, not just because you have to take into account that you do not have a universal hardware like set and restriction. You have to develop for the lowest common denominator and the highest common denominator. They fear that their content will be stolen if they put it out on PC at all, which is a really unfortunate perspective to have. Is piracy a problem in all digital formats? Yeah, it just is. That's a fact of life. But you kind of balance that against the number of sales you aren't getting because there are people who will only play their games on PC.
True. Or there are plenty of people that are constantly asking for the games to be on PC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, given their PS2 ones, obviously people have found a way to put those on emulators. I get that. So I understand where they're coming from. But there is the audience that would wholeheartedly support the game by purchasing it on PC. But yeah, they just refuse to. And I understand, the whole pirating thing, I understand. They're one of the good companies, I will say, that always makes some solid banger games. So I get their mistrust on always seeing, piracy here and piracy there. But there are ways around that. You know?
It's a legitimate
seen plenty of
fear.
companies that put in, you have seen plenty of companies that, I mean, not that they should, but that troll people when they do pirate a game. So you kind of are forced not to.
Yeah.
To pirate it.
I think, again, there's the mentality of this is all piracy or piracy in a digital space is a customer service problem. If you don't make buying the game easier than finding it and wrangling it to work through an emulator, then that's not a lost sale because that person wasn't going to buy the game anyway.
Yeah.
I have never gone to see a game and be like, I think I'll pirate this instead. With the exception of Disco Elysium after I heard what happened with Zaum. I fully endorse everyone, hypothetically, allegedly in Minecraft, fucking pirate the fuck out of Disco. Zaum got captured by horrendous Eastern Bloc fucking capitalists. The people who still work at that studio are basically in slave labor, and the fucking current game that came out, or Zero Parades for Dead Spies, has suffered.
Actually, they had to lay off people because that game did not do successful as they thought. Yeah, they laid off 32 employees. That, and I just think because people, like how you mentioned, I think people just still have that grudge against the company that they don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want to support criminals that stole an IP from its creator.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was just already you signed yourself up for failure there. Regardless of what you came out with, you should have already known most of your audience was turning their back.
Yeah. But back to the point of, while we are mostly digital for the sake of, convenience when it comes to game purchases, also because a lot of games are launching digitally only. So we go to where we can play them the easiest and have them run the best, or give them the best opportunity to run well, because my PC, I made sure, was stronger than a PlayStation 5.
Obvious, yeah.
It's not hard to get you can get prefabs that outrank consoles in strength, but ultimately this is a machine for the sake of running games. The PlayStation 5 does not have a great, track record with prioritizing frame rates or resolutions. You have to pick one. in enhanced mode. But retail sales, that's the bit. Games that do come out on disc, the majority, when you create a digital only environment, do you think that everyone's mom or grandma who goes out and does the Christmas shopping, lowest common denominator, all holiday shopping that happens, do you think the people that go out to buy video games for their kids or grandkids or nephews who are, little shits and they don't really get what the deal is, do you think the people going to buy discs are going to go and get them a fucking gift card instead? Do you think that they understand if they walk into a store and they don't see video games on the shelf, they're going to buy something else?
It's true.
You are killing your fucking by getting rid of physical games. You are killing your retail market. You're killing the relationship you have with retailers. Are you not making as much money on those games compared to digital? No shit. But
yeah, not to mention just people just really physically love having the item. They know that it's like, oh, here it is. On a digital market, it's like you mentioned, or like we've mentioned, at any point that they want to, they can just revoke the licenses, and guess what? You're out of luck.
Yeah, you don't have the confidence.
That's it.
They're not sending people out to take the disc out of your fucking hand. That would be too expensive.
Yeah. Always having the digital thing, especially on Sony's front, always doing the checks of making sure the PlayStation account's active.
Yeah,
or even with multiplayer games, another part that you can take into account is that now they're going to force people to get PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. If you can only buy a game through the digital marketplace and that game has a component that is locked behind a subscription service, you are forcing people into paying for that subscription service.
With the PlayStation Plus service, I can already see them too, but which they kind of do now, giving more incentives like, oh, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you get a slight discount or you get a bigger discount than what it's already being discounted.
Then if it is tied to the subscription.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the problem that sucks, is that like it always comes back to being tied to the subscription, which means the minute you cancel the subscription, you lose access to all of it.
So the other half of retail, physical retail, you have to maintain those relationships. Do you think that GameStop or Best Buy are going to sell PS5 Pros if they can't sell accessories, if they can't sell other attachment units to get some kind of profit? The PS5, okay, so the PS5 Pro is the only available console right now. I think they're producing the standard PS5 anymore.
Yeah.
At least they are. They're definitely not going forward. The PS5 Pro has had a price increase due to the AI bubble eating all of the fucking resources for any kind of electronics hardware. The PS5 Pro is now $1,000 US.
Yes.
So you expect when the federal minimum wage is $7.75, when they can't buy a game at the end of a full shift, you expect them to work months just to be able to buy the console that they then have to sacrifice even more fucking money to make work.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you try to bundle that, as you mentioned, it's like, hey, here's your console and here's an extra controller.
That'll be another $90.
Yeah. What about the games? Oh, well, you can buy.
Do you want to buy a second charging cord for your fucking controller?
Yeah.
Hey,
or like, well, here's this PlayStation card you can, use to get the currency in the PlayStation Store.
Oh, hey, did you buy too many games digitally? Guess what? We aren't putting any stronger or higher grade fucking hard drives in there. Here, go ahead and buy this hard drive. Go ahead and fucking buy this expansion drive.
And if you do have physical games, hey, here's this external disk drive you can purchase to be able to access the games you have physically.
I think that's the most insulting part of it, is that like when they send the digital version out and the digital only PS5 was the only one available for a bit mid-pandemic.
Yep.
They also sold a disk drive separately that is now fucking functionally useless going forward.
Yeah.
Outside of the games you already have.
Like it's kind of like a moot thing to do, like to have now when they're like not even trying to work with that anymore.
It's just insulting. They took away disk drives, then they sold them back to you, and then they killed the point of disk drives. It's such bullshit.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Nah. Even sardonically, I have nothing but disdain.
You're like, no, not at all.
Okay, so back onto the timeline. Here's a moment of positivity. The initial couple of days of backlash, GOG announced that they are going to support infrastructure for permanently offline downloadable options for their games,
which is always a good thing.
which, you know, they're already an anti-DRM company, but GOG also is really good about having different versions of games available because some work better than others. But there has been this online trend of essentially like USB drive cartridge hard drives for specific games with the specific art printed onto them that is extremely impractical because the cost of any hard drive, anything, even a USB thumb drive right now is fucking expensive. But like GOG is announcing that they're like, hey, not every video game company is evil. If you buy a game on GOG, you own it.
Yes.
Even
That's one thing I do.
Even if they delist it, you own it.
Like, at least they're keeping a way to play the game alive in some way, some manner.
Alongside that article, there was a technically tangential. So recently, if you're a fan of the Cartoon Network show Samurai Jack, Gennady Tarkovsky's seminal work, that was recently pulled from Max. There is no way to watch that show legally unless you have the Blu-ray. If you don't have the Blu-ray, you can't watch that show.
Which even then, those are far and few in between.
And this is Samurai Jack, which is a show that is historied and has physical media associated with it. Max in particular has pulled shit where when they were trying to push Velma, that insult of an idea.
Oh, right. I remember.
We talked about it during the adaptation thing. They killed almost all of the animation on their fucking streaming service, including original shows that do not have physical media, and their cancellation means that there is no legal way to watch them at all, and there won't be.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So we have to take that into account. At the same time, the U.S. attempted the Stop Killing Games initiative in California, and it failed by 3 votes because they, and there's an associated quote here, they put $0 into the marketing of passing that bill, i.e. they weren't willing to grease the palms of the senators that were voting on this, whereas the companies were. They still only lost by 3 votes. The initiative did not pass by 3 votes. It fails. It wasn't that it was voted against. It was that it just didn't get the traction it needed to.
It just didn't get enough support to keep going.
Let's keep in mind that the UK version of Stop Killing Games, the original one, that was on par to like actually be considered in Parliament, like actually like legislation was about to be passed, until the Ubisoft CEO had a private conversation with key members.
God knows what he was promising though. But yeah, I remember the UK version had way more traction. Like they were in support of it.
Yeah, like what, something like millions of votes or backing on surveys, and fucking like everyone signed the petition to such a degree that there were people who obviously are representing corporate interests that are like, you have to verify your petition because there's obviously people are like triple voting. This is too much of a percentage of the fucking populace for it to be real. And then there was like a 10%, 2 to 8% fucking margin of error. So after a video game CEO known for crimes, allegedly, goes into a private room with a legislator and crimes happen, allegedly, that initiative failed in the UK. Let's not forget also recently the leader of the ESA stateside, who is a fucking idiot and said that they were going to legally pursue anybody who owns or they were going to sue anyone who has a private Minecraft server because they believe that's piracy.
Of course. I don't know how they can come to that conclusion, but of course.
Ownership. They are owned by people who benefit from them being stupid. Let's go back down to other news that was announced between the 1st and the 8th. ABC News, major news, fucking like Corpo News is weighing in on this. They have a secondary verified source that that proves 82% of PlayStation 5 console sales were disc editions of games. Most of the original 78% depicted Capcom classic port titles. They're only available digitally. There's no physically. There's no physical copy. They are including the cost or DLCs as individual units. Digital only microtransaction digital item sales are also counted as digital units. The definition of which is bullshit.
Yeah,
you can't. Your fucking 1,000 V-Bucks is not a video game.
Like, even if we were going back to the Capcom titles, like you mentioned, some of those, like Resident Evil 0, doesn't have a physical, like, port in current day, and it has a shit ton of DLC, like extra costumes and just other stuff that is like, well, yeah, if I purchase this costume, it's going to look like a digital sale, given it's only like $5, but you're still going to count it, right? So how can you really get a basis of like, oh yeah, gamers want digital.
You can't.
When like half of your stuff is digital,
only,
and the game.
You can't say, oh, we're following the market trends. The gamers want digital when the only option is digital.
It's digital, yeah.
So Sony,
like, I forget if like Kunitsugami was
if it even had a physical copy. I want that game, and it's like, I want to play that game. I don't think it has a physical version. Maybe on PlayStation.
I think it did, but like it was after the fact, if I remember. Like, it wasn't a thing that came out at first. It was digital only at first, and then they started coming out with physicals.
Yeah. So July 5th.
Yeah, Play Asia. Yeah, so you had to get it somewhere else. Dude,
the retroactive market it's its own whole thing. Fucking, we know limited run games exists as like a disc producer for the sake of, hey, this game rocks. We want it on a disc. So July 5th, Sony announces a new policy allowing them to delete your account after a period of inactivity, which means that any and all purchases, subscriptions, and all associated data would be deleted.
Yeah, just gone.
Now, it is a number of months. If you only play physical copies of games and you only play the games that are exclusive to PS5, your account would be deleted twice over between the release of major fucking first-party exclusives.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, if you only play games on PlayStation 5 when they have to be on PlayStation 5 and because you want a disc, your account would be gone the next time you fucking log in after playing fucking Demon's Souls or playing fucking... Like, if you went from fucking playing Returnal to Saros, your account would be gone.
Yeah, because it needs that internet check, because it needs to make sure that you're still actively on it.
And they announced the new policy that if you don't log in after a long enough period of time, get fucked, buy it all over.
Yeah. Yeah, that all that accounts,
because it's so much of a strain on their fucking servers to keep account records. Like, what the fuck? So alongside that announcement,
great their infrastructure is. Yeah,
God, that's
it's not like they haven't had blackout. And then that's another thing. It's like, it's not like they haven't had internet blackouts for periods of time where you can't literally go on for like a few weeks. Or just recently, there was one like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that literally was the problem that people were talking about. Why not having physical media is a problem, because it's like, oh, PSN was down. Guess what? No one could log in. Guess what? No one could access their digital libraries. And it's like,
so that's okay. So it's not even like, oh, hey, I can't download my game. It's no, I bought this game and it's been sitting on my PlayStation 5's hard drive for months. They have done. Why do you need to verify that I bought something from your store if your store's the only way to get a digital game on the fucking console?
Right.
Second, like the second bit there is, why the fuck do you need to do a digital verification if the verification was done once ever at all? But also, let us not forget that even if you have it downloaded, the go home signal can't go through. If it can't do its background verification when you launch the fucking game, you can't play the game. It could be fully fucking downloaded. You can't play the game. You paid for it. It's downloaded. You should have access to the thing, but if Sony servers have taken a shit or are under subject of DDoS, which happens way more than it should, you can't play the thing that you bought and downloaded already. It's ridiculous. So alongside that announcement was also the announcement that they are changing their mind again about the PlayStation 3 and Vita stores. They are being taken offline in 2027.
Of course, because why would they want their customers to be able to access older games?
Yeah, no, it's a great start to your digital-only future when you delete access to like a generation and a half worth of games, some of which are exclusively available on the hardware.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, there are games that are strictly only on those like digital stores. So it's like, and then that's the other thing. If I do purchase them and I do download it, is there a guarantee that I'm always going to be able to play this? Or are you guys just going to be like,
the stores are gone, are they going to revoke your access?
Yeah, like, is the licensing just suddenly going to be gone and then I can never touch it again?
Tangentially related, it's funny because the PlayStation Vita, I define it as the last good decision Sony ever made. And then they killed it.
And they killed it.
It's such a it was so ahead of its time with its hardware. The touch screen on the back, like the integration of that is like fucking unmatched. The fact that it had like quality OLED in a screen that size. the save state fucking, or the suspend state fucking shit, which, it's been around since the PlayStation Portable, but fucking still, it made it so much easier to play games portably. That fucking piece of hardware was the last good decision that Sony made as a company. And then they killed it. And then they're killing it again. Because even if you have the thing and you have
further
their proprietary ass fucking memory card, and you have all of the games that you paid full price for downloaded on the fucking thing, guess what? There's a non-zero chance that you're just not going to be able to play that shit when they kill the store.
Yeah. Remember when Sony even pushed the model that's like, oh, well, if you can get an AT&T access account to have internet at all times, like,
they did give up on that immediately, but yeah, I do remember that at launch there were two versions. There was one with a cell, there was one with a cell plan, so it's like, nope, you can play anywhere that your fucking cell phone can have a signal. Or
you can just have the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm glad I did not get the cellular version. There was a hardware difference. Those announcements go through on July 5th. At this time, there are hundreds of thousands of online interactions. There have been trailers posted. There were announcements for new hardware. There was like a limited time fucking, or a new limited edition fucking DualSense controller. And under every one of these are community notes on Twitter in particular, which is shockingly the one fucking feature on that thing that I actually still have even a fragment of respect for. Every single thing is pointing out that Sony is trying to establish a digital monopoly. They are not supporting physical media, etc. All these things that are relevant. And the fact that they also have not acknowledged it. Sony, in turn, had paid, because they are a corporate account, they paid to have the community notes removed. I don't know if that's allegedly, I don't know if that's how that model works behind closed doors, but knowing Musk, that might be how it works. And they would delete posts and repost them, but people would go back and they would put the notes back and they would put the responses back, because fuck you, you're not running away from this.
Yeah, no. There was plenty of community backlash, and the fans made sure they were heard one way or another.
So over the course of a week, Sony, the full company, not just PlayStation, this is Sony, the full fucking multimedia company. Whole. Their July 1st to July 8th, their stock drops $1.
Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but
that's 5% of the valuation per share.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, this means nothing to people who don't get it. And also me, because I also don't care about stocks. And I think that the stock market is just a way to justify slavery. Because what do you mean value? Value's an idea. Get fucked. Yeah, so as a metric of, the worth of the company, it's going down because you're fucking making a bad decision and you're ignoring the backlash. So at this time,
blatantly ignoring it too. Like, there's not even like they're like trying to mitigate any type of no, they're just blatantly ignoring it, not wanting to acknowledge anything that anyone's saying about it.
So the thing that's happening, this is breaking containment. ABC is covering the backlash as a news story. They're going through the numbers that are being published, and they're like, and we actually checked, and people who can do math and read, who are left in journalism, proved that this is not even remotely true, or at least how it's being presented is not technically true. So at this time, there is a French presidential candidate, J.L. Mélenchon. I don't speak frog, so there you go. Fucking speaks out against the digital-only monopolized storefronts in general, but specifically cites PlayStation, stating games are culture and should be preserved, and considers legislation, publicly considers legislation if they are elected or appointed. So on July 13th, this is when the global gaslight attempt starts. July 13th, IGN, I'm assuming on Sony's behalf, allegedly, publishes a bunk-ass article stating that there is an analyst saying that protests that utilize cancellation of PlayStation Plus subscriptions won't work in the long run. Unfortunately, anyone who can read could also check or has critical thinking skills or has media literacy, can check that the analyst that said this is Dr. Serkan Toto of Keio University, which is about 10 miles from Sony's headquarters, and whose program gains funding and grants from Sony. So, yeah, unbiased reporting. Good job, IGN. You've proven yourself fucking reliable once again. So, at the same time, Brazil their government is pushing for, there's a push for digital ownership laws. The Netherlands has formed a consumer group that sues Sony for a $475 million class action lawsuit representing people who are losing access, essentially. The UK has a €2 billion claim over the PlayStation Store pricing monopolization. Mexico has, there are a few federal lawmakers that are preparing an antitrust suit. Sony is caught banning streams utilizing the hardware that are actively criticizing the company over the recent discourse. So, hey, did you stream through your PlayStation? Guess what? Not only is someone watching you, which good for you if you're streaming, but they're watching you so that they can kill your ass if you don't say something that doesn't align with the brand. So cut to the 15th. Sony is now, and allegedly in Minecraft, etc. I'm not getting sued for defamation. Sony is sending out, I'm assuming, a press report, possibly to bot accounts that are pretending to be game news sources on Twitter, posting propaganda. Now, this might sound like something that's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Do you remember the threat to our democracy speech?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay,
but I know.
So we all know that corporate news is owned by like one of 5 companies.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was ABC or not, or it was a lot of local stations, like 50 plus local stations owned by one overarching media conglomerate, used the same speech when it came to the first run of Trump claiming that, all news is fake news. So the backlash to that online on traditional news media was, hey, this is a threat to our democracy if you let someone define what reality is for you. But the problem is they all read the same speech.
Yeah.
So there was a supercut of cutting from one news anchor to another news anchor to another news anchor, and this is not uncommon practice. There are things that are initiatives from on high.
Oh yeah, now I remember.
Yeah. So the problem is if you don't change it up, people will know that you're not speaking from the heart, but you're not speaking legitimately. You are reading from a prompter. These are not your thoughts or opinions.
Right. Like someone wrote this script for you.
The attempted psyop is with recent Twitter fucking account gaming.bo3.gg and Gaming Central, Gaming Central 26, which are trying to pretend.
Let me pull that up on my end.
Yeah, let's get these.
The backlash against Sony appears to be losing momentum. Many PlayStation posts initially received 100,000 plus protest replies. Recent posts are reportedly seeing closer to 10,000. As time passes, it seems many players have started to move on. False. For now, it looks increasingly unlikely that Sony will reverse its decision to phase out physical games. Let's go to the next picture.
The next picture, Gaming Central. Oh yeah, Gaming Central. That sounds like an account that might be in gaming news.
At Gaming Central 26, no less. Oh, shocker. The backlash against Sony appears to be losing momentum. That's crazy. That sounds like exactly like the other post.
It doesn't sound like it. It is word for word the exact same post.
Yeah, many posts initially received 100 plus protest replies. Guess didn't that other post say the same thing?
Yes.
Like, give me a break
100,000, by the way. Recent posts are seeing closer to 10,000. Also, using Twitter metrics as your primary source on whether or not people care about
your statistics,
is fucking stupid.
Like, Twitter already is just a cesspool of.
So, additional context: pre-announcement, PlayStation posts typically received fewer than 1,000 replies compared to the 107,000 plus average post announcement. Most of which are hate, but not like the regular Twitter hate, but like productive hate. Like, hey, you're not getting away with this. They are actively putting money out to. This is a psyop. There really is not a better word for what this is. It's not just propaganda. This is like a psyop. They're creating puppet accounts to try to get you to believe that nobody cares about the thing that everyone cares about. Speaking of which, why would Sony be so against the idea of ownership? Let's give a quick sidebar. Who owns Sony? Sony's a publicly traded company. Did you know that the top 6 owners, it's not just the top 2, it's the top 6 owners, about 10%, the top 10% owners of Sony. They are all subsidiaries or just are BlackRock. You know, the company that's buying single family homes to rent them back out to people who can't afford them. The people who don't believe that ownership in property should be a thing at all. The people behind JP Morgan, Chase Bank, who are actively fucking with people's private equity all the time and getting caught for it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the actual fucking the dark hand in the shadows that conspiracy theorists worry about.
The actual leaders of the country.
Well, I mean, that's, you know what? That's it. Is that a red dot on my forehead? What?
Yeah,
No, we're just video gamers. BlackRock won't come after us. They'll send Vanguard.
They'll come after our video games.
Well, they are coming after our video games. They're coming after the concept of ownership in general, which is why that's on. It might be tangential. It might be conspiratorial. That's why I think that they're pushing for this zero ownership idea, because look who owns them.
Yeah, so much more sense.
So July 16th, Sony is kneecapping physical sales through Crunchyroll. That's an announcement of the account for ability to access the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we touched on at the beginning.
Yep. But that was around the 16th that happened. And on the 21st, we have a new segment from the IGN Gaslight Patrol. Only 7 games on PlayStation sold over 100,000 units. What they failed to mention is that was only this calendar year. Only this calendar year, not in general. They framed that headline to make it seem like ever. How many first-party exclusives even came out this year? Is it not? Is it 2?
Yeah,
is it Ghosts of Yotei and Saros?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, I think there's only 2. Think of.
So this is becoming a favorite segment of mine. Let's play the game. How many fucking games actually are exclusive to the PS5? This is an Of Two Minds original.
Yes.
How many games are exclusive to the PlayStation 5?
One night.
Guess what? It's less. It's not even 9.
Whatever number you're thinking, it's less. That's for sure.
So some people will have different opinions as to what counts. They think, the most recent God of War games, and God of War is a first-party title from PlayStation. It has always been. However, the God of War 2016 era games, God of War and God of War Ragnarok, they are available on PC. They are not exclusive to the PlayStation 5.
Yes.
The Last of Us 1 and Part 2 have been ported between, remade between PS4 and PS5. I don't really count those as exclusive. The Spider-Man Insomniac games and the Horizon games are also both ported to Steam. So here's the bit. Here, like sidebar to the sidebar. Another announcement is that Sony has actively said that all of those, Part 1, Part 2 games that they put into the Steam store, they are never bringing another digital game to Steam with the current leadership.
Yes. They wanted to cut PC games.
Until they go back on it, because they will go back on it, the as of right now announcement is that they will not bring the next God of War game to PC. They will not bring the next Horizon game to PC. They will not bring the next Insomniac game to PC. That Wolverine game, that's going to be exclusive to PS5 forever, except it won't, because people will figure it out. So the concept of the article is that the games that are only sold over 100,000 units, that's bullshit, because that's only this year. How many fucking titles do you think sell over 100,000 units physically in general? It's also only fucking at time of publishing. It's only July.
Yeah,
that's one game selling over 100,000 units a month. But how many fucking games that sell that rate, that get that level of production for physical distribution? How many of those even came out this year? I don't have an answer. I legitimately don't.
No, I really couldn't tell you.
But I'm telling you, I don't think it's much more than 10.
I doubt it.
Especially when there are so many games that are competing for people's attention that are $0 free-to-play installs, which Sony counts as digital sales, by the way. So crazy. So let's go through what the fuck is actually on the PS5 exclusive list. Let's go through it, because the Wikipedia page is a fucking nightmare. Sony's own page on this is outdated. There are games that are not exclusive to the PS5 on that list.
Because why would it be updated,
Search engines are dead, so it's impossible to look through a fucking Reddit article that's older than 2 years old. So, but let's go through this list. Astrobot and Astro's Playroom. One was software that came with the system. I don't personally want to count that, but people like that game. Let's benefit of the doubt. Let's give it that. It got a sequel.
Astro Playroom, yeah.
Okay, that's 2. This is literally the love letter to Sony game, Astrobot. It won Game of the Year because of that. I don't know what this thing is. That's a VR game. I don't count VR games. That's separate hardware. That's not exclusive to the PS5. That's exclusive to the PSVR 2.
You need the VR, the PSVR to play that, which is also, again, most PSVR games, if not all of them. No, not all of them, but most of them digital only.
We want to be pedantic. A PSVR 2 is not a PS5.
Yes, it is not.
You need a PS5 for it, but
it is an accessory for the PS5. That's like saying the PlayStation Portable. It's like you still need the PS5 to utilize the PlayStation, like the big tablet thing that they started.
Oh yeah, that fucking thing. I forgot that existed. Shit. So Code Violet is a game that came out and did okay. It's a little bit like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I don't even know if it did okay. Last I had checked, it did horrendous. Well, but it was supposed to be kind of like a mock spiritual successor to Dino Crisis. That was the whole big thing. It's like, oh, there's dinosaurs revving around. You get this character who almost looks like the main character from Dino Crisis, except shocker, she's Violet.
Yeah,
she has purple hair.
It was originally announced for a Q2 release in 2025, and then it got delayed. And then they're like, "Oh, well, as a Christmas gift, we'll get free Christmas DLC to everyone who plays the game day one." But did not actually release until January 10th. Apparently, and this is literally what's available on the information for this game outside of going to the PlayStation Store, which, fuck you, I'm not doing. The only thing of note about this game is the fact that there was initially a lot of backlash because it launched extremely buggy. And the first thing that was said was a declaration of how successful Code Violet was, and that they're going to be making a sequel called Code Ultraviolet because we're just mining for mid-aughts fucking alternative DVD titles.
Which is also baffling that they think it did that. I mean, to my knowledge, I know that game did terribly and reviewed terribly.
Yeah.
I don't know how they consider that a success.
So there is another game on this list called Daba Land of Water Scar. It isn't out. It still says that it's in development. I also throw this under a fucking little bit of not derision, but a little extra salt. A couple extra grains of salt, because this is part of the PlayStation Heroes projects, which was their endeavor to get international development. Right. So Daba is one of many China hero projects that has not released. Okay. All of the ones that are in development. Okay, no, there's about 6 or 7 of them that have actually come out, but this is the third wave. I had to leave it in too. So there are 9 hero titles from China PlayStation Hero projects in development. The only one with the third wave, the only one that's released is Awaken Astral Blade in 2024. Yeah, and it is not exclusive. So grain of salt. I don't know if that's ever coming out, because there are games from Wave 1 and Wave 2 that were canceled and did not come out. There's a digital only thing on this list, which shouldn't be here. Demon Souls, dubiously on this list because it's a remake of a PS3 game, but it was the last thing that Blue Point ever did, so fuck it. Demon Souls remake.
Yeah.
I don't
fine remake.
I don't personally count Destruction All-Stars because, as we mentioned, that game is no longer available to play.
Yeah, that's true.
Ghosts of Yotei, yeah, that came out. That's on the PlayStation. I don't think it's on anything else yet. People will figure it out. I don't count the God of War Sons of Sparta game because that's like an Xbox Live Arcade title. God of War.
I mean, that would have like an asterisk, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and count
yes, it would count, but
well, that's really the thing. If we talk about like digital slot, I don't think that this game is bad, but there are hundreds of digital slop titles that are like things that got rejected from the Steam store that are on the PlayStation store. Yeah. So I'm not acknowledging any of that. God of War Laffy is not going to be out till 2027. Whether or not it actually has a disc published is also up for debate. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet has not had any confirmation as to when the fuck it's coming out. And honestly, I don't give a shit about that game because I don't think that there's anything coming out of Naughty Dog that'll ever be good again. Do you remember what this game is?
Which one?
Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet.
No.
You remember that fucking trailer that was all CG of the bald space bastard captain with like branded items, like a Cadillac fucking branded spaceship? That was a Naughty Dog game that was announced like 3 years ago. Doesn't matter. It's not out yet.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not out yet, so it's not an exclusive just yet. Marvel's Wolverine is not out yet. Paper Beast is a VR game. Quantum Error also came out on the PlayStation 4 and is trash. There's a Nippon Ichi software game called R-Type Final 2. Debatable if we're going to count it, but let's just count it for the fucking sake of it. This version of it is PS5 exclusive. Saros is like currently exclusive to PS5, but Returnal made it that broke containment, so maybe they'll change their mind about that and they will accept all of the money for PC sales that they're not going to get on their system. So here's the other one that I'm also dubious about. It's fucking Silent Hill: The Short Message, which is the one that is like, what if Life is Strange was European Silent Hill?
Yeah, it was that mini game that came out before Silent Hill F.
Yeah, I have problems with this thing, but yeah, currently only available on PS5, so we can count that. Until Dawn 2 is not out yet, and The Winds Rising is another hero project. So we have, depending on your preference, 8 games for a console that came out 6 years ago.
Whopping 8.
Now, is this a pedantic definition? Yes, because obviously there are games like God of War, like Horizon, like yada yada. But you know what? Those games became more playable when they were not exclusive to PlayStation.
True. I mean, same thing goes with the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Even Square, actually, because of the backlash that they saw themselves in of being only exclusive to PlayStation, they had come out and said with Revelations that the Part 3 remake, it's going to be multi-platform at launch. They're not going to, because they saw that being exclusive to the PlayStation for that time period actually hurt them in sales.
Yep. So not to sidebar the sidebar, let's remind ourselves that this bullshit behavior is not exclusive to Sony.
Oh yeah, obviously.
So Microsoft just laid off like another several studios worth of people. Like there's over 100,000 fucking layoffs this year. They're closing multiple studios. They are fucking foreclosing on studios that if they can't find a buyer for them. This is including Double Fine, which they released Broken Age, and then they didn't release anything else under the Microsoft moniker, but they just don't want to give them any more money. And Nintendo...
Ninja Theory was another one.
Ninja Theory is closed down. And the whole thing that's super disingenuous about that was like literally days before they announced that Ninja Theory was up for sale and going to be shut down if they couldn't find a buyer, is that they announced a new Hellblade game like days before. Days before. And that game's not coming out if that company doesn't fucking exist.
It's true.
Nintendo also is pulling the same shit. They are definitely pushing for digital only, but Nintendo at least acknowledges their limitations. They attempted to do cloud only games that you would have to play over the cloud service that even if you had the best possible internet connection could not retain a 30 frame rate and had constant control jittering. But recently with the Switch 2 is the trend of games that are not actually on the cartridge, but are digital key codes that essentially you put the physical card, the key card, into your Switch 2, and that tells the system that it's okay to download that game from the eShop. As someone who has purchased Bravely Default Remastered, I know what I was doing when I bought that game because I want to play Bravely Default not on my 3DS that has a 5-minute battery life. But does it make me extremely worried that eventually there will be a problem where Nintendo will kill that key card after the fact, or they will change the policy on transferability? Because as of right now, those key cards, basically the second you give it to another console that plays it on another account, it devalidates your download and revalidates it on the new one. But they at any time could just invalidate it. If there's hardware damage to that key card, that could result in you not being able to download the game.
Yeah. Or let's even take it a step further. They can just break the whole console if anything.
Oh yeah,
if they feel anything is
Nintendo's
just malfeasance on their end.
They've taken to not even having to prove. They're just like, if we suspect you're tampering with your console, we brick the console.
We just brick it. Yeah, we just brick it manually, and it's like, oh, okay, so I don't even own my console, is what you're saying.
Well, that's just it. If the fucking thing doesn't work without daddy corpo's fucking approval, then no, we don't. We don't have the concept of ownership is being eroded.
More and more.
So this is going to seem like it's not related, but guys, we have to be aware of things that are also happening at the same time, because I think that this is relevant. This is a Cryptid Connor fucking segue. At the same time that, you know, these bullshit fucking articles are being produced, there is a recent trend where 3 weeks ago there was a copyright lawsuit attempted to be thrown against Anthropic, which is an AI company. And Anthropic has not responded to that lawsuit, but at the same time there was announcements related to their Project Panama, which is the destructive scanning of used and rare books. So they grab these books, they sever the spine of the book, they scan the pages, not even for public use. You do not have access to these scans. They destroy the original material and they feed all of these scans into a training model for their shitty AI. So there is a fucking, and I hate to Alex Jones it here, but there is literally a war on all fronts. They are taking our culture. They are fucking destroying it. They are making shitty derivatives that are generatively made, not using fucking any kind of creative input. And then they are selling it back to you. They are actively trying to deculture the fucking population. And for people thinking, oh, well, maybe it's just the way that they scan it. Maybe they have to break the books because they're so delicate. No. Another company, Treventus, who is a hardware producer, they make a scanner that, and they have been in response to the clapback to Anthropic. They're promoting the fact that they make a scanner that does not damage the material, that does not even damage the ink of older books, that scans without destroying original material. So legitimately, the people that own the companies that steal the money from developers are actively trying to destroy the culture that is the physical crystallization of culture that is games, media, written word, even music. They're coming for our shit, and they're going to try to sell us the concept of the memory of something that we once had. And it's gonna fucking, you are going to own nothing and you're going to be happy. That is the future that we're looking down the barrel of. Is the Sony thing just video games? Sure, for now, but it's not going to stop there if we let it happen. So we get to the 31st. We did this initial recording, me and Beyond, on the 30th, saying, man, this sucks. All this stuff is bullshit. Sony is going to have to back out of this because there's no way that this is going to work long term. There's no way that they can there's no way that the profitability of going digital only is going to make up for the destruction of customer trust.
I honestly don't see, even when the news was made, I had already in my mind, I'd already know there's no way this not have severe backlash or severe consequences. Kind of like when we saw Microsoft and Xbox increase the price to Game Pass, and they lost over like 2 million subscribers.
Yep.
And then they backtracked on some of that. I do not see how this is going to not be any different from that, where it's like, oh, it's all digital only. They're going to force maybe more or push harder with the PlayStation Plus subscription, whatever it may be. I can already in some way foresee people are going to turn their back on just playing PlayStation altogether and be like, well, at least Nintendo and Microsoft still let me buy my games physically. I'll go towards those, which I don't know if Sony has really thought about that per se, where it's like, can this really turn on us in the long run? I honestly don't think.
I don't think that corporate people, I'm sorry, I don't want to call them people. I don't think that the fucking corporately minded, the sociopaths that make business happen, that make business decisions, I don't think that they can think long term anymore. I think that the pandemic has permanently short-circuited their fucking robot brains, and they literally only think about, how can I do an instantaneous rug pull that will make me a little bit of money right now? I don't think they think about long term. They constantly are asking for things to be long term beneficial, but they don't wait ever. They don't wait for the fucking, they're complaining at you that the fucking pizza that they ordered is still a ball of dough.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're capable of it anymore. I think that the corpos, like, I'm not going to fucking cut to Johnny Silverhand, but fucking, I don't think that the corpos I don't think they're capable of knowing that what they're doing is going to be bad long term for business. I mean, it's one of my favorite callbacks is the story about the Costco CEO in the, I think it was end of year corporate meeting.
And one of
about
the corporate meetings
about the hot dog. So there was a guy who was like, "Hey man, we only charge $1.50 for this hot dog. We should we're losing money on it. We should charge more money." And that motherfucker like jumped onto the table and is like, "If you fucking touch the price on that hot dog, I will fucking kill you." That is the actual quote.
The way he like stood up for that, I'm like, that doesn't sound like a threat. That just sounds like he's gonna keep a promise. If you guys touch the pricing, this whole room is gonna be wiped off the face of the earth. I'm like, that's the type of CEO that at least still someone cares.
Because they sell that same fucking hot dog, man. They lose like a buck per dog. But here's the bit. If you have any kind of corporate fucking anything, if you have any fucking business experience, you understand what the concept of a loss leader is. You sell the $1.50 hot dog to get people to pay for the fucking multi-$100 goddamn subscription membership to get into Costco to begin with. Right. People show up and they pay for shit they don't need in quantities they aren't going to use so that they can get the fucking $1.50 hot dog on the way out.
Yeah, and there's quite a few other items that they sell below because they know they'll make it up elsewhere with something in the store. It's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Sony used to know this because I'll be real, the last 2 console generations have like the consoles make $0. In fact, the PlayStation 5, I don't know if it's gotten profitable yet. I don't think that they've broken down the hardware. Or maybe when they start charging $1,000 for it, they'll start making a profit margin. But the console is a lost leader because you sell the accessories and you sell the games and you sell everything the fuck that goes with it because people are like, oh, well, this was only a $500 system. Let's say you have $1,000 in your pocket. In a month, that'll buy you one PS5. Fucking 5 years ago, that bought you the PS5, that bought you an extra controller, that bought you fucking like 4 more games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to Alex Jones it, but legitimately these seem like evil fucking like lizard brained fucking corporate people. So the reason that we've re-recorded this entire podcast is for this quote that happened literally the day after we fucking recorded it, which was from a Sony investor call where Sony's current CFO, Lin Tao, responded to and this is not like open to the public, this is just the investor call, responded to an investor's concern about the current backlash. So this is Sony's CFO, Lin Tao, in response to the backlash.
So PS5
translated, obviously.
Disc production.
Yes.
The second question. So on this point, we announced that January 2028 onwards, we will no longer be manufacturing game discs. So 1.5 years ahead. So we made this announcement at this time. There are various reasons we made this decision. The biggest being that the digitalization of contents overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. It's not just for PlayStation, but for all kinds of contents, digitalization is progressing. And so when we think about the future, and we put in a lot of thought and time, and we cautiously considered this, and we came to this conclusion, and we're going to cautiously move this forward. And to this decision, we have received various opinions, and people have strong views, and we understand that the community has put forth those views to us. Games are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people, and it's connected to people's fond memories in many cases. And so we understand those emotions. We want to consider that. And in the future digital ecosystem, how do we engage the gamers is something that we would like to continue to explore. Thank you very much.
So you and
that's the first time I'm hearing it.
Yeah. You and I have very limited, studying in Japanese. There are words that are better than we understand this thing.
Yeah.
There are more personable words. There are more like human, like cultural and central. Like there's a way to translate this maybe it's a poor translation.
It could be, yeah.
I don't want to immediately demonize this thing. This is a corporate investor call. I think that the wording was extremely intentional because they don't care that you care about this. They understand that you care about this. They don't appreciate that the reason you give this company money is because of the value you put into the things they produce. They want to adapt to exploit a market. That is what they want. And this is the first time you're hearing it. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I just feel like sort of like a cop out to them. Just be like, oh yeah, we heard you, so we're going to sort of think about it, what we can do to somewhat appease the fans.
Oh, that's the thing. They didn't even say that. We autocomplete in our heads because we're so used to
speak. I mean that's what I'm like interpreting it as. Like that's what it's supposed to be. We know how much like you cherish these games and physically have it, and you can. I mean, how many times have we seen it where it's like games get passed down from father to son, so on and so forth, or from like a grandfather to a grandson or granddaughter, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like them just kind of acknowledging it to be like, yeah, we get how much it is, so we're gonna cautiously like move forward to see what we can kind of mitigate, but this is what we just thought was
cautiously
the best move.
Approach you from behind with our fucking piano wire.
Yeah, it just felt like they're acknowledging what happened, not really.
Well, that's the thing. It's
acknowledging what happened.
It's an acknowledgement,
it's just like
without a commitment.
Hey, we heard. Yeah, it's like we heard the backlash, but this is what we're still kind of moving forward for, and maybe you guys will come around to the idea.
Yeah, it's not.
And by maybe it's like we're going to force you to come around. Yeah.
So that's the thing. They will consider how to best push you into their plan, not how to best build a plan to support what the wants of the customer are.
Yeah. It's like almost like saying one way or another you're going to comprehend what we're doing, regardless of how you feel.
And they do know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing because
like I can tell you right now, I feel like the PS5, I know is gonna not even probably. I should say this definitively. The PS5 is gonna be the last PlayStation so I can truly afford to buy, because if the PS6 comes out, if we're already at $1,000 smackaroos,
if the PlayStation 5 is already selling for $1,000 fucking dollars because that's what they think it's worth, and because
I'm already imagining
companies have made the fucking parts impossibly expensive, then,
exactly.
Like what?
There's no way the PS6 is going to be lower than that. Like minimum, I'm already expecting PS6 is going to be 1,000 smacks,
dude. Especially
so already right there, I'm like, I can't. I just physically couldn't, because I'm like, for $1,000. If I shovel out 500 more, I could just get another PC that I could just play more games on. Or like, it doesn't financially feel right to even get that anymore.
It is,
and I'm cruising with my Switch 2. The Switch 2 just came out, so I'm like, you know what? I'll cruise with Nintendo for a bit, and then I'll keep my PC. If I miss out on PlayStation games, I miss out on PlayStation games. But I'm not about to give them that kind of money for a console. I'm sorry, I just couldn't.
It's legitimately, it's unjustifiable. It's fucking unjustifiable. Yeah. And they know what they're doing because Nishino, the CEO of PlayStation, Sony Interactive Entertainment, sold the majority of his shares before the announcement.
Yeah, of course he did.
So I thought it was just going to be like a dip and buyback scam. No. That
he just pulled out.
He knew what he was going to do was going to tank the fucking company. He has yet to repurchase his stock, or he has yet to have been offered his stock back for no cost, because that's how CEOs get out of fucking paying taxes, allegedly. But you know what?
I don't know. I've heard.
It's such a fucking fall, man. It's such a fucking fall, because I don't even think we need to play the bit. When Xbox and Don Hadrick fucking who announced Xbox and then immediately retired because of how badly he fucked it up. When they pulled that, oh hey, if you want used games, we got a console for you. It's the Xbox 360 at the launch of the Xbox One. PlayStation put out a 23-second ad that pretended to be an instructional video as to how to share games on, because they had this whole fucking thing with the discs. It never happened, so who cares? But
Yeah.
when Xbox
They went back
launched,
on that real quick.
they fucking backed the fuck out of that. Like buying a disc, and it was a one-time purchase. You can't trade it to somebody. You can't give it to somebody. You can't do shit with it.
I don't know how they thought that was an idea. Like,
Because the guy who made that announcement went on to become the CEO of fucking Zynga.
of course.
You know, the Farmville dev. That's the level of people we're dealing with. No, so they made that 20-second informational video about how to share your games on PlayStation, and it was two PlayStation execs. One of them handed a box to another, and that was the end of the fucking video.
Like, here's how you share games on the PS4. He literally hands him the game.
Yeah, good
to
luck
his
fucking
hands,
sharing
like,
games on your
there you
PS4
go.
or for your PS5. Have you
Your
tried
PS5 moving forward?
Have you tried going back to your PS4 after logging in on your PS5?
No, I don't even have a PS4 anymore. I traded it in to
That's
get
what
the
I'm saying.
PS5.
So, do you know how difficult it is
But
to
then again-
re-verify your account on a different console?
No.
So people
But
are
I'm
like,
sure
"Oh man, I'll
they
just
make you
log in on my
jump through.
friend's PS5." No, you fucking won't. You can't download games unless you verify that the console that your thing is on, which you can only do a limited number of times, is your primary console.
Oh, I remember doing that when I got my PS5. They're like, "Oh, you have to verify and you have to make this your primary console."
Yep.
That's so stupid. They make
That
me
so
do it
like
every time.
this is what we're going forward with, man. That we're currently up to date. If anything cataclysmic happens between now and like the 3 or 4 days it's going to take me to edit this, we'll talk about it later, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
like, what do you think after all of this, after the last month, the content of the last month or so has been laid out before us?
Honestly, I don't see this ending for anyone, because if Sony does set this precedence, and not to mention the bull jazz that is GTA 6, if it somehow freaking pans out that it's like, oh yeah, look, digital only is the way to go, I swear to God, if Microsoft and then Nintendo follow suit, that I'm done. Like, it would just
So
be horrendous across the board.
like I joked about it earlier, but I think Microsoft is taking a different metric in killing games, in that they just don't let things that are developed ever
Yeah,
finish.
they just
or
don't let them
release.
come out. Yeah,
We all
unless
thought,
it's Bethesda games.
remember when we thought Scalebound was going to be a one-time problem,
Oof.
and then Phantom Dust, and then every fucking game. 3 years ago was when they bought like 60 game development studios, and they brought them all in. And
purchased
they've
goddamn
closed,
Activision Blizzard and
yeah, a couple $1 billion. They've closed the majority of those studios.
yeah.
How many games have actually been produced?
I don't even know. I know it's very.
I know
minimal.
Redfall
That,
came
like,
out and
original?
basically should not have.
Yeah, it came out and then practically it acted like it shouldn't have. It should have been canceled immediately.
But yeah, no. So Xbox is just killing the games in the womb by destroying developers. And
Or they release a
Nintendo-
banger of a game like Hi-Fi Rush and then close the studio as soon as it was.
Well, you see, the problem
was
with that was
released.
that Hi-Fi Rush was sent out to die with no marketing, because they thought that, oh, the game couldn't be successful, and then we can use it as a tax write-off. And then it by its own merit did
And it ends
so
up-
fucking well.
It ends up being a huge success. So many people love the gameplay, the aesthetic, the style. It's almost like, oh, this sort of gives me the Jet Set Radio vibe, but with like the rhythm music aspect. Like, it's almost like they don't know their audiences. That game comes out, and shortly after, they're like, oh yeah, Tango Studios is closing.
Well, they already made the decision to kill Tango before that game.
Oh
was
yeah,
even
before the game
announced.
came out. But I'm just saying, the news came out shortly after the game came out. And it's like, oh, so the game does well and they get rewarded by being shut down?
Yeah,
Question mark?
the same as any Activision, Blizzard, EA, any major, like, fucking laughing my ass off at the fucking old, like, oh, the 3Bs can't let you down in 20 fucking 10. Fucking BioWare, Blizzard, and fucking Bungie. Look at where we the fuck are now.
They can indeed all let you down all at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that the long and short of it, this is like inherently anti-consumer. It's definitely trying to erode the concept of ownership. This is, as someone who occasionally can tap into the brain of the profit bound, like, I can understand, like, okay, with your fucking lizard brain, you see that you save 10 cents per unit by fucking cutting out this resource for your employees, whatever. I know why you're doing
Yeah.
it. I fucking I disavow and fucking hate it. But I can at least, you know, do the math to see why you think this is a good idea. I can't see, unless there's some kind of like secret cabal, like here's we're officially out of fucking plastics fucking shit. There's no way. There's no fucking way that they can the ends justify the means here. There's no way that you can find that this is going to be profitable. And there have been people who have stated that they are confident enough in the fan base's fucking faith in the brand that they think that they can do this. And they really should not have that if that is sincerely their perspective. There's no amount, like no amount of math has been produced to justify this degree of greed. No one, you know, like I understand that that's all like fucking behind the scenes, and very rarely will we ever, will the public ever get access to like, okay, here's what actually made that decision. Because we can't even get like sales numbers that are real, but you are fucking lying and cheating and legitimately stealing. You're stealing. You're taking away something someone paid for without recourse.
That's for sure.
There is no future for PlayStation here. And the problem is that the company making these decisions and the ones that are going to have to back up their own fucking bad choices is a fucking media conglomerate that fucking owns a massive percentage of the global fucking market. Like, it's not even just this, man. Sony produces cameras. Sony produces fucking films. Sony produces fucking, it's not just selling the discs. They sell TVs. They sell everything that you need in your media center at home and everything that you would ever put in your media center at home. If this leads to the company like dissolving, which it won't, Sony, you know, it's the same situation as with Konami. Konami, we only know them for video games, but legitimately they are also they produce like small appliances, and literally what they make in rice cookers could keep their gaming endeavors alive for like decades. And it did. Sony makes enough money that it's going to be really fucking hard if they fail to the degree that the company like disintegrates. But at the end of the day, it's not a matter of whether or not Sony's still around. I don't give a fuck if a company dies. I don't care. I am the anti fucking water news from fucking Monsters Inc. I will not kill to maintain the company. I will fucking do nothing and watch it die. What I care about is how many things that we care about are going to be destroyed or marred in the sinking of this Titanic ass fucking mistake.
Yeah, that's the only other thing that worries is like how much collateral damage can they cause?
A lot. A fucking lot.
A lot, a shit ton for sure.
So yeah, it's you know, the whole point of Of Two Minds is that we're usually ambivalent about what we're talking about. I think we're of one mind on this one.
On this one, yes, we wholeheartedly.
I don't think there's an alternate way to think about this if you're not actively being paid to. So on a closing note, no disc, no buy. Fuck Sony.
Of course. Absolutely. I will always be a fan and a wholehearted stan of having physical. I could never see just going all digital. Fuck Sony and their decision on this, and I truly hope they end up crashing to see the repercussions of their choices.
I hope that we can, you know, it's like this is a fragment of a dream. It's kind of like saying, hey, what if we just implemented a mandatory retirement age in the Senate? We would just have a completely new government and we could, you know, solve all these road problems.
Make better decisions.
We need to get these fucking corpo monsters away from, you know, the control stick. We need to get people who,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, I'm not saying that like inherently if you make a business decision you're a bad person, but that kind of decision making power does tend to fall to the people who don't care about the repercussions of their actions. I think that there needs to be more oversight in PlayStation in general. I don't think that like this feels like a fucking rug pull, man. It does.
Oh yeah, especially like just dropping it out of nowhere the way they did.
So yeah, I don't know. That's going to be all for today. appreciate everybody for listening in and keeping informed.
And then again, we'll be touching up on this subject as more news comes out, I guess.
In both of our streams, and maybe if there's a major update, we'll have a follow-up. But in the meantime, Beyond, what are your plans for the immediate future, aside from not playing games on your PlayStation?
I mean, realistically, the one part where I'm kind of get like forced into using my PlayStation is Final Fantasy VII Revelation, because I got the first two games on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to be, and all my save file stuff is going to carry. That's the one game that I already have the eyes. That's the only one I'm getting for the PlayStation in the coming time. Everything else, I'm like, I've already switched to my Switch, or I'm getting on the PC. And
yeah, the majority of what's on the horizon for what I'm going to be playing and streaming is either all PC or is definitely not online. My only plans for my PlayStation are I'm going to turn it on in about a month or so that they don't steal all the things that I paid for.
Oh, that's fair.
But yeah, no, I think if there's an option, I'm leaning away from the PlayStation. And I was already kind of there, because I'm going to be real, the hardware just isn't up to snuff. The biggest tragedy when it comes to we didn't really touch on it, but this is a matter of video game preservation and cultural preservation, because if we don't have physical copies, then we don't have the ability to back anything up. We don't have the ability to, or as easily, we don't have the ability to maintain things. But the state of the fucking industry right now is that even if we do have our physical discs, games are shipped broken and fucked up and lacking content so often that what are you even going to do with it? And this is not exclusive to AAA development. Fucking
just in general.
Yeah, we brought it up in the last recording, but just real quick, the launch of Hades 2 from Early Access, when they sent out the 1.0, it lacked the current ending. And it's debatable as to whether or not that ending was added as a result of fan backlash, but we aren't even in the state of being anymore where fucking game on disc is finished. So I'm really concerned about the future of game preservation in general.
It is a problem, which I know a lot of people, they cut out trying to preserve it in general by having the physical.
Hell, I mean, with mentions of GTA 6 kind of pushing the digital narrative, the problem is with GTA as a series is that as of the 7th generation, post-game production updates not only added content with all the DLC, but fucking another licensing deal that fell through with Sony was when fucking the licensing for GTA 4 expired. And both Sony and Microsoft put out an update because they didn't want to pay to re-up that license, and Rockstar didn't want to pay to re-up that license, that they updated a detractive update. They killed the fucking music in that game. I haven't gone back to check, but legit, if you go, there's full ass stations where I assume it's either silent or it's been replaced by fucking elevator music. I have no idea. So the state of it is just, the state of preservation with physical discs is also dire. But if we don't have the discs, then it's not even a discussion. So that is the long and short of it. It's a good place to call it for now. Again, if you guys enjoyed that episode, or if you want to hear us talk about a particular subject, if there's news, go ahead down to the comments below. Let us know. Also, if you want to catch up with me or Beyond, we are actively streaming. I'm streaming at twitch.tv/damnfinecryptid. My schedule isn't set in stone, but we're doing a bunch of cool stuff. And then Beyond, you've got a relatively consistent schedule going. They can find you over at...
You can find me over at twitch.tv Beyond the 7. Currently, I'm playing through as we mentioned. I'm also doing Unicorn Overlord. I'm also going through the Adventures of Elliot, and then, of course, as always, which my channel is based on, is my Final Fantasy. Consistently playing Final Fantasy games. Currently, we're on Final Fantasy X. Usually stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturday.
Hey.